Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be reacting to another video from Charlie Kirk. Today's video is titled Charlie Kirk versus Environmentalist. So without further ado, let's get started.
Given that you believe human beings are exacerbating climate change, shouldn't you agree that we ought to transition away from fossil fuels?
Well, no, I don't agree with that. My contention is I don't know. I do believe global temperatures are rising. I'm not willing to say definitively it's anthropogenic, meaning it's human activity. But if you connect the two, I asked the question I asked earlier, how much? Are there any other contributing factors to rising global temperatures other than human activity? If so, what are they, and to what degree do they factor into rising global temperatures? But sure, you want to follow up on that?
Yeah, I was wondering, how can you not know whether climate change is happening when a recent survey of 88,125 climate-related studies done by Institute of Physics cites that more than 99.9% of peer-reviewed scientific papers agree that climate change is caused by human activities?
How much? So how much of the global temperature rising is because of human activity? No. What percentage? Is it 70%, 80%, 85%, 5%, 1%? Because that's not what the study said. They're saying that human activity is contributing to part of the increase. What part? They don't know. That's debated.
Can I answer that?
Sure.
So like there's actually a statistics or a study done that suggests that climate related disasters are 8 times more likely than in 1980s.
Well, hold on a second. You know that we have less people dying because of quote-unquote climate-related disasters thanks to fossil fuels? We have less people dying because of extreme exposure to cold, hurricanes, because of the advancements we have thanks to fossil fuels. You know, this idea, it's very interesting in modern society. We take for granted the idea of having widespread shelter, heating, or air conditioning in extreme climates thanks to hydrocarbons, we take for granted. That used to be a leading cause of death of human beings up until 1850s. Now, if I posit your contention, climate-related catastrophes, even though, according to peer-reviewed studies, that climate-related catastrophe death is actually at all-time low, the question is then for you, which is, what would you get rid of, when, and what would the cost of that be? That is the question, so please answer that.
Well, I was just wondering, like, you know, you didn't really answer my question, but I was, obviously I can't give you like exact percentage of numbers, but I do think that we ought to transition away from fossil fuel, right? Like, I'm not against growth or development. I obviously agree with you that, you know, the Industrial Revolution, like economic growth is good. It's lifting people out of poverty. That's obviously good, right? But in developed countries today, where we have the ability to not damage our economy, but also benefit the environment, shouldn't we do that?
Okay, so give me an example. What specifically would you ban? You're king for a day. What would you ban? Would you ban liquid natural gas? Would you ban nuclear? Would you ban fracking? Would you ban, what kind of hydrocarbons would you ban? Give me the examples, and you're king for a day. What would you do?
Well, see, I wouldn't like straight up ban something, right? And so I'm not advocating for like, you know, just like fossil fuels, we end fossil fuels like immediately.
That's
right?
a mature answer. Good for you. No, I mean that. That's because the radicals don't always say that. Please continue.
Right. So I'll argue for like market-based solutions, a transition away. Like for example, I think in 2020, like the government funded $5.9 trillion to fossil fuel companies. I would say that instead of investing this money, $5.9 trillion to fossil fuel companies.
That doesn't sound right. But you might be in tax credits, maybe, or tax breaks. That doesn't sound
subsidies.
right.
Subsidies.
No, that's 5.9 billion, probably not trillion. There's no way.
It's trillion.
Yeah, well, the federal budget was 3.8 trillion. So there's no way we spent more than our federal budget.
No.
But I'm going to help you out. It's probably billion. Did you say trillion or billion?
It's trillion. It's done by the International Monetary Fund, and probably it's not.
It's not possible. I mean, I'm sorry to.
I'm not saying just in the United States.
Oh, okay, worldwide. All right, then that might be conceivable. Sure.
Right. So I mean, yeah. But anyways, so I would say instead of subsidizing these fossil fuels companies, I would say that take these subsidies to renewables and other forms of cleaner energy that would be beneficial to the environment while still pertaining economic
Fair enough. Last question. So where do we get the cobalt to make the batteries, and what do we do with them? No, I'm asking. Where do you recommend we get the cobalt to make the batteries?
Wait, can I answer? So like your argument is about this mining argument, right? Like.
No, I'm asking a question, dude. Like where do we get it from? Yeah, so then how about this? How and where should we dispose of the incredibly acidic, sometimes radioactive batteries that electric vehicles use? Where should we dispose of them?
But that argument, you see, it's a straw man because you're
Answer the question.
No, I am answering question. I am answering. I am literally answering your questions, right? So you're arguing about this renewable energies and their batteries and how they cause environmental harm, right?
I've asked a question. I'm not making an argument. What should we do with the batteries once we use them?
I'm saying that's a straw man because you can't.
Straw man question. That's a first. I've never been accused of a straw man question.
Because you have an underlying premise in your question that renewable energies exist in a vacuum, but you can't do that. That's not comparative analysis. You have to compare renewables with fossil fuels, with fracking and stuff.
Right. All right, pal. How about this? How about this? You can't answer the question because deep down you know that cobalt-powered batteries are worse for the environment than liquid and natural gas and nuclear power. So you come up on here to try to virtue signal, I love the environment, but as soon as you ask me about the incredibly environmentally inefficient, destructive, animal-killing, acidic-producing batteries, you're a strong man. You're out of time. Thanks for being here tonight. Next question.
You say that you support facts and not feelings, right? So I was wondering how you reconcile this with Trump's climate policy or environmental policy. Because this is a pretty significant threat, in my opinion, based on the evidence that I've seen and the research that I've seen.
Which threat exactly?
Yeah, what's
Climate
the threat?
change specifically, and I know that's a politicized term, but I'm just
Right.
interested to know what you think.
They changed it from global warming to, this is another thing Democrats do, because they love linguistics. They changed it from global warming to climate change. Do you know why? Because when scientists started looking into global warming, right, there was actually no factual data to back up their argument. So they changed to climate change because the climate's always changing, right? This is literally why they changed it. They were telling us a lie, extracting our tax dollars for some Paris agreement. They had no actionable plan, and America was losing. So you know what Trump did? He ripped it up, but we got out of there.
Paris agreement.
I saw that happen, yeah. But those are distinct, like, scientific terms. Like climate change, global warming is happening. Like there are curves.
It's okay.
You can look at the studies
Right,
yourself.
so,
There is a 99%.
let's talk about this. There's rising global temperatures. So let me ask you 3 quick questions. Can you prove humans are contributing to it? Can you prove how long it's been happening and what the causation is? And can you prove that anything we can do can stop it? Can you answer those 3 questions?
I can. So the
So
first
you
part.
can prove humans are contributing.
Well, I'm just a freshman at college, but
Obviously, but the
If I
reason
could-
is no one can. The answer to those 3 questions are
well,
no
it's
one can.
kind of how science works. Yeah, you can't prove
You can
anything
prove humans are
for certain.
contributing using the scientific method.
Wait, could I just address? You can address me.
Well,
okay.
I- Well, hold on. We'll do this after. No, this is important.
We
Go
can
ahead.
talk after too. I mean,
No, but
I'll be around.
but here's the question.
Yeah.
Here's the 3 main questions: is can you prove humans are contributing? Can you prove that what we're going to do is actually going to affect global temperatures positively or negatively? And then at what cost? Are we going to completely restructure our carbon-based economy for something that is still having an immense amount of debate, dialogue, and discussion around it? Because I'll tell you right now, other countries such as India and China, they are trying to get their hands on as many fossil fuels as possible. Now, if the market wants to go towards a carbon-free economy, so be it. The government should not subsidize it, nor should we get in an international pact, as Candace mentioned, which will restrict our economic competitiveness while all of the countries that hate us are going to burn as much coal and as much natural gas as they can get their hands on.
That's exactly right. The Paris Agreement wasn't worth the piece of paper it was written on. There was nothing actionable in it. He was right to pull us out of it completely.
Okay. Well, for the first part of your question, people causing climate change. It's kind of a boring explanation. I can tell you're not into too many boring things, but for sure, definitely, there's a thing called the Seuss effect. You can look it up if you want.
I'm familiar with it.
Basically, yeah, it's there's certain isotopes of carbon that decay when they're taken in by plants, and then turn into fossil fuels. So underground. So ultimately, those isotopes decay when they're burned. They're released into the atmosphere. The fact that the concentrations of those isotopes are increasing shows that it's almost certainly linked.
Can you draw a direct correlation using the scientific method of the aggregation of those isotopes to rising global temperatures?
Well, yeah, of course, because
More so than sunspots or natural climate activity?
I'm just curious.
The reason I ask is real climatologists ask these questions and they're still debating them, the ones that are not government funded or highly politicized.
There is a 99% consensus on.
So what about the
climate change.
1%? Science is not a democracy. We don't vote on gravity. We don't vote on Newton's second law.
No, we don't.
prove it.
I mean, If you don't want to do the reading, you don't have to.
I have. I guarantee you I've read
I'm sure you
much more than you have. But answer the question. Is science a democracy? No, you said 99%. If it's 100%, then it's true. 99% is an opinion.
That's not, I mean, I can debate with you about how science
No,
works.
prove me wrong. How is 99% prove anything?
You can't, 99% of the people in this room can believe one thing. That doesn't make it true.
No, scientists. These are scientists that have put their entire work and their entire life on the line, yet it's 3%, and it's 97, the statistic I use is 97%, which is a totally flawed statistic, but let's pretend it's true for a second. That 3% that disagrees and defects, I want to know why they disagree and defect.
Absolutely.
But the reason there's not consensus. If we're able to prove it without a shadow of a doubt that there's a direct causation or correlation between fossil fuel activity and rising global temperatures, and it would be 100%. Those 3% that are defecting and disagreeing, that's what science is all about. That's why we have a scientific method. That's why they gather and they disagree and they discuss. But you came at it from, how could I disagree with facts? I'm giving you a fact that it hasn't been proven.
I feel everyone is just trying to benefit from this because people are advocating for them to take out fossil fuel. If they take out fossil fuel, what is the next alternative energy? Okay, we should go into rechargeable batteries and all. At the end of the day, when these batteries become weak, where do you dispose them? Where is their final resting place? Maybe they'll be in the ocean or dump in, let's say, in the soil, causing more harm to our food. You see, like, that is what Charlie is asking. If you don't like this, then what is the alternative solution? If you can bring out alternative solution, you guys can dialogue about it, but no one is trying to bring out this alternative solution and stick to it, because no matter the solution they bring out, it's going to get worse. You see, the thing is, what I observe is Charlie is putting human first, because before every other thing, human need to be first. He's asking them, okay, who is causing this climate change? Who is causing this global warming? Is it just human? Is it just human? Or there are other factors that lead to this global warming? And that is what people are not able to, explain. Yeah, we are human. Yeah, we have our part to play in this, maybe global warming or whatever. But we are not 100% committing everything. Climate change happens even before civilization came into power. People have been experiencing climate change. And you see, now people live longer because of this, carbon that they are burning. Because now you can have your heater when the temperature is so cold. Back then, when civilization was not there, people sleep in cave. People wear thick clothes to prevent themselves from cold because they are outside. Now you can stay in your house on your heater and you are good to go. That is it. It's like things are becoming better. We are living longer now, and countries are profiting from this carbon that they are selling. So do you want to prevent the United States from I think what Charlie is saying is people are pushing for this, are trying to prevent US from making their money. And when they prevent US from making their money, alternative or their competitors will take over the market. And that is what Charlie is kicking against, and I think that is what Donald Trump is kicking against. This is a brief one coming from Charlie Kirk. I love this, and I want to see more videos like this. If you have any recommendation, let me know in the comment section. It is your first time visiting the channel, click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and remain blessed.